If you're thinking about getting a dash cam, you've probably noticed how much the market has transformed. Today's cameras are genuinely impressive, and picking the right one can mean the difference between crystal clear evidence and a blurry mess that won't help your insurance claim. I've gone through the best options available right now, and I'm breaking down what makes each one worth your attention. All product links are in the description below. Let's dive in. First up is the Rove R3, and honestly, this is the dash cam I'd recommend if you're a rideshare driver or anyone who needs to interact with their camera regularly. The standout feature here is that gorgeous 3-inch IPS touchscreen. While other cameras force you to fumble with tiny buttons or dig out your phone to change settings, the R3 lets you tap and swipe just like your smartphone. Picture this. A passenger gets in your car and starts acting suspicious, and you want to adjust your camera angle or show them they're being recorded. With the R3, you just reach up and tap the screen. No awkward app connection, no squinting at menus. It records in 1440p on the front with dual 1800p for the interior and rear, which gives you solid 3-channel coverage. The supercapacitor inside means it handles extreme temperatures like a champ, so you won't come back to a dead camera after parking in the summer heat. The night vision with infrared captures clear footage of your cabin even in complete darkness. The resolution isn't 4K, which means you won't get the same long-distance license plate clarity as the pricier options, but for capturing what happens inside and immediately around your vehicle, it's more than enough. Now, if you want that native 4K quality, but you also care about how the camera looks on your windshield, the Red Tiger F17 Elite is calling your name. This thing uses the same Sony Starvis 2 IMX678 sensor as cameras costing significantly more, which means you're getting true 4K resolution without any upscaling trickery. The design is this sleek wedge that sits flush against your glass, almost disappearing into your rearview mirror area. Compared to the bulkier hanging designs of some competitors, the F17 Elite looks like it belongs in a luxury vehicle. The interior camera uses what they call full night color technology, which maintains actual color footage in low light instead of switching to that ghostly black and white infrared look. If you're driving through a city at night with streetlights providing ambient illumination, you'll see passengers and potential threats in full color. Red Tiger also includes a 128GB card right in the box, which is a nice touch that saves you an extra purchase. The Wi-Fi 6 connection means transferring those large 4K files to your phone happens remarkably fast. One thing to note is that the cabin camera really thrives with some ambient light, so if you're frequently driving through pitch-black rural areas, the IR-equipped alternatives will outperform it in those specific conditions. Speaking of uncompromising performance, the Wifi A229 Pro is what I'd call the serious evidence collector's choice. This is the camera you buy when you absolutely cannot afford to miss a single detail in a potential incident. What sets it apart is having Starvis 2 sensors on both front and rear cameras. Most competitors cheap out on the rear camera, but Wifi puts the IMX675 back there, which means you're protected from tailgaters with blinding LED headlights just as well as you're protected from what's ahead. Imagine you're stopped at a red light and someone rear-ends you before speeding off. With lesser cameras, their headlights would bloom into a white blob, completely obscuring their license plate. The A229 Pro's rear sensor handles that HDR challenge beautifully, capturing the plate even through the glare. The buffered parking mode is genuinely brilliant too. Instead of waking up after an impact, it continuously records to a cache and saves the 15 seconds before any incident. That context showing someone approaching your parked car before hitting it is invaluable for insurance claims. This is a premium tier investment, and the unit does run warm during operation due to all that processing power, so optimal placement away from direct sun exposure is worth considering. The Rove R2 Dual represents something really interesting in this market because it brings Starvis 2 technology down to a much more accessible price point. The front sensor is the IMX675, which is genuinely excellent for HDR and night vision performance. Now, Rove markets this as 4K, but here's the real talk. It's technically upscaled from the sensor's native 2K resolution. Before you click away, understand that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The underlying sensor is the same one Wifi uses for the rear camera on their flagship model. Running it at native 1440p actually produces sharper, cleaner footage with smaller file sizes than forcing it to interpolate up to 4K. The supercapacitor power source and USB-C connection make it thoroughly modern, and for someone who wants genuinely good dashcam footage without dropping premium tier money, this hits a real sweet spot. Compared to the older Red Tiger F7NP at a similar price, the R2 Dual's Starvis 2 sensor absolutely crushes it in night performance and dynamic range. That brings me to the Red Tiger F7NP, which is worth mentioning because it's been a bestseller for years and you'll see it heavily discounted frequently. It's a proven reliable platform with a supercapacitor, which means it won't leave you stranded with a swollen battery. The daytime footage looks quite good, with accurate colors and decent sharpness. However, the sensor technology shows its age when the sun goes down. Without hardware HDR, headlights become blown-out glare spots that obscure the details you actually need. It only supports 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, so transferring footage to your phone feels painfully slow compared to the newer models. If you're on a tight budget and primarily drive during daylight hours, it remains a functional choice. But for a modest price increase, the Rove R2 Dual offers noticeably better optics with modern connectivity. The 70 mA810 deserves attention for one compelling reason. This camera produces the most visually stunning footage in the entire lineup. The color science is borderline cinematic. If you're someone who occasionally posts driving footage online or wants your road trip videos to look beautiful straight out of the camera, the A810 delivers that without any editing. The AI motion detection is genuinely smart, recognizing human shapes approaching your vehicle and filtering out false alarms from passing cats or waving branches. Here's the catch though, and it's a significant one. The A810 uses a lithium-ion battery instead of a supercapacitor. In moderate climates like the Pacific Northwest or UK, this is perfectly fine. But if you park in Arizona, Texas, or anywhere that turns your car into an oven, that battery becomes a liability. Heat-induced shutdowns and long-term swelling concerns are real considerations. Additionally, when recording front and rear simultaneously, the frame rate drops to 25 frames per second rather than the 30 frames per second standard. It's subtle, but fewer frames means potentially missing a fast-moving license plate. For the right user in the right climate, this camera is fantastic. Just know what you're getting into. Finally, there's the Teransol D016, and I have to be straight with you here. It advertises dual 4K recording at a price that seems almost too good to be true, and that's because it probably is. The processors capable of encoding 2 genuine 4K streams simultaneously are expensive and generate serious heat. Finding that capability at this price point strongly suggests heavy interpolation from lower resolution sensors. Real-world footage often shows compression artifacts during fast motion that destroy the fine details you'd actually need for evidence. If you just want something recording and don't care about resolving license plates at distance, it technically functions. But anyone expecting true 4K clarity based on the marketing claims will likely be disappointed by the actual image quality. So let me help you sort through all of this based on what you actually need. If you're a rideshare or delivery driver who needs to interact with your camera and show passengers they're being recorded, the Rove R3's touchscreen makes it the obvious choice. For daily drivers who want top-tier video in a sleek package that won't ruin their interior aesthetics, the Red Tiger F17 Elite delivers native 4K in that beautiful wedge design. If evidence quality is your absolute priority and budget is secondary, the Viofo A229 Pro with its dual Starvis 2 sensors and buffered parking mode is the benchmark. Value hunters should look straight at the Rove R2 Dual, which brings modern sensor technology to an accessible price. And creative types in mild climates who want gorgeous footage might find the 70 mA810's color science irresistible. All the links are down in the description, so grab whichever fits your needs. If this helped you out, consider subscribing for more tech breakdowns like this one. Drive safe out there!